As an evolutionary ecologist by training, I frequently find myself in conversation with people attempting to defend my optimism that our species can solve its way out of the ecological crisis that we are participating in. If we take a deep time evolutionary perspective and we view the way that the Gaian superorganism has attempted to resolve the previous extinction events on this planet, then we have the perspective required in order to participate in a more vivid, diverse, intelligent, and dynamic ecosystem, the one that we may be destined to create as a species, rather than assuming the guilt and the responsibility for ending life on Earth as we know it. The primary example that I like to refer to people is the Great Oxygenation Event, the first of what are now 6 major extinction events on this planet. This was when cyanobacteria evolved the capacity to photosynthesize, turning sunlight into sugar, and as a byproduct, they flooded the atmosphere with oxygen at a time when all life on Earth was anaerobic and oxygen as a corrosive and combustive material was toxic to everything. And this almost destroyed all life, but luckily necessity gave rise to invention, and a new metabolism emerged, an aerobic metabolism, out of which evolved all of the animal life on this planet, including you and I. So when we think about the way that we breathe carbon dioxide and trees breathe oxygen and we live together in what Richard Brautigan would have called mutually programming harmony, we consider this to be this sort of static state of ecological perfection. But in fact, no, it was the solution to an evolutionary catastrophe 2.4 billion years ago. And if we apply the same logic now, we realize in the sense that we're the evolutionary process becoming aware of itself, then we can deliberately engineer and examine our opportunities for new metabolisms, or perhaps new forms of symbiosis with existing metabolisms that can help us clean up the oceans and the atmosphere. I'm imagining, for example, a world in which bioremediation technologies like those popularized by mycologist Paul Stamets allow us to use fungus to clean up radiation spills, oil spills, potentially eat the plastic in the Pacific Gyre, and use it to generate a whole new era of recycled industry. An era in which 3D printers eat our fashion at the end of the day and spit out new fashion tomorrow without us ever having to fill another landfill. An era which is in some way precedented by cities like Oslo, Norway, which have learned to incinerate trash in order to generate electricity and now have to buy trash from neighboring cities. Every new civilization finds a way to integrate the waste of the previous civilization into its input, into its structure. Culturally, we see this through remix culture and the way that everything is just being mulched by us in terms of our data and in our information. But this is going to eventually make way into our actual physical systems and our industries, and we will save ourselves and save the world in the process. So that's something worth taking home.